Welcome to the Generation Kids Daily Devo podcast, where we move from wonder to worship, looking for God at work in the world around us, ready to ask the tough questions and discover what His Word has to say to us. Today's episode is titled Patient of Patience, and it comes from me, Casey Taylor. As we continue our time looking at the fruits of the Spirit, so far we have covered love, joy, and peace. And today, we start a whole week looking at the fruit of patience. Patience is the ability to remain calm and to not freak out in the face of challenges, trials, and delays as we trust in God's timing and wait on Him to lead us. This looks like waiting and waiting and not losing heart as we wait on God to provide for us or in His timing, and still believing that God will come through. Oftentimes, the phrase used instead of patience is the term long suffering. And sometimes it's exactly what it sounds like, suffering over a long period of time as you wait for relief, for an answer to your prayers, or for the promises of God to come true. We see this even today as we wait patiently for Jesus to return just as He said He would over 2,000 years ago. We still sit in the midst of a world that is overrun by the effects of sin all around us. But we don't lose heart, or we don't lose trust that Jesus will indeed return, just as He said He would, to make all things right. This is what it looks like to have patience. Let's see some other ways that the Bible talks about having patience as we jump into today's Daily Devo. Don't we all love it when something good happens at just the right time? The bad guy comes and starts to win over the good guy, but just as things are about to go really wrong for the hero, his sidekick comes along and joins forces with our hero to see the hero's win as the villain gets overmatched by the combined threat. Or what about when someone is about to lose everything, but they fight hard to earn the exact amount of money that helps them keep their belongings and their house and their lives are restored rather than taken from them? Right on time makes us happy every time. But what if right on time never comes?
Oh no.
What if the hero loses a battle and the enemy prevails and goodness doesn't come out on top? Or what if the money that was supposed to come in to save never comes in at all? In fact, what if someone steals it after it's been earned, which usually happens on the way to using it to pay off that debt? What do we do when evil prevails and goodness seems to have taken a deadly blow? Well, when evil prevails, the Bible has a clear response for us.
Rest in the Lord and wait patiently for Him. Psalm 37:7.
Do you know what the second half of this verse says? Well, let's back up a little bit and read the whole thing together. Rest in the Lord, wait patiently for Him. Do not fret when people succeed in their ways, when they carry out their wicked schemes. How can the writer of the psalm possibly say this? When evil carries out its wicked plans, we're just supposed to not worry about it? But why? Well, the answer is important for us to believe, to know, and to live as if it were true. God sees us. He sees all that is happening to us and around us. And if that's true, then we're able to endure long periods of suffering, not because we're super strong or brave, but because the hope that we have in Jesus offers us the promise of a life having conquered sin and its effects. Maybe not while we're in the flesh that currently sits on our bones, but at the very least when we have our heavenly bodies and are made brand new in Him. Now you might be saying, this is all well and good to wait for Jesus to come back, but what about all the days between now and then? I mean, if we've been waiting for over 2,000 years, what if my troubles extend past the end of my earthly life? Well, this is the power in the gospel. The hope that beyond our circumstances, beyond our ability to overcome the enemies to our faith, beyond the time it takes to see us to a victory through the defeats, we have a promise. And that promise is that God sees us and doesn't forget us, that He will come back again, making all things into right, turning pain into joy, and renewing all things that are old and broken including those of us who have been beaten down by the world, or the effects of sin. Even those who would seek to harm us, He will come to make all of those wrongs and turn them into rights too. This might mean that He uses your loss to teach you something, to build you up against what could have been another loss in the future, equipping you to withstand further threats from the enemy. Or it might mean He sees you and won't forget you when He makes all things right as He comes back. When we walk in the Spirit rather than in the flesh, we will leave revenge, retribution, or payback to God. We won't seek revenge for the wrongs done to us. We'll hope for a renewing of the heart for our enemies, because we too were once far off and harmful to others as we went our own ways rather than following God. So as we begin this week focusing on patience, may we not see our waiting as wasted time, but as sacred space where God is shaping us. Every moment of long suffering, every tear shed in silence, every prayer whispered in the dark is seen by Him. Patience isn't just about getting through delays. It's about learning to trust the God who holds the time in His hands. He is never late, never absent, and never unaware. So today, let's choose to rest in Him, even when the answers are slow in coming, because we know the one we're waiting on is faithful, and His promises are worth the wait. Now it's time for
Today's Big Question!
Today's big question is, can you think of a time when you prayed for something and God didn't answer your prayer in the time and way that you wanted Him to? But when you look back, it was in exactly the right time. Sometimes, to trust God in the future, we have to remember how He has shown up in our past. So take a moment to consider, and then thank God for coming through at just the right time, even if it wasn't exactly when we'd hoped for. Thanks for listening to the Generation Kids Daily Devo podcast. If you want to keep in touch with us on all our social media platforms, check out the links in the description. And if you'd like to help support us as we continue to create meaningful content for kids of all generations, please subscribe to our Patreon by visiting us at patreon.com/wearegenerationkids.